Hi there, welcome to the Intentional Growth series. I am so excited about this series, particularly because it is so invested in your growth and in you actually putting to work the things that you hear on this platform and being able to apply them, and not just applying them but measure the results that you're seeing. And so I'm so excited that you are here and that you're doing this with us on this series. So welcome to the Intentional Growth series all through the month of June. Every Thursday you're going to be getting a video related and answering questions around your intentional growth. The first question I want to answer today is the question around discipline and consistency. You see, the word discipline and consistency is overused but very underrated. And the truth is this, both ideas go hand in hand. In fact, without discipline, it is hard to be consistent in your actions. And without consistency, the muscle of discipline will weaken over time. So it is not either or, both of them work hand in hand to achieve the aim that they desire to eat. So people who are disciplined are able to control their behavior and adhere to the guidelines that they've set for themselves. And in doing that, they know that to see results, they have to show up consistently. And so discipline leads to consistency, and discipline helps you make the right choice daily for your goals, for the outcome that you're seeking to see. And then when you show up the next day and the day after that and the day after that day, and if you keep going that way, you're going to realize that over time you have become consistent in your action. And then because you are now consistent, you don't let emotions or obstacles prevent you from doing what you've decided to do. And that's the sum total of consistency, really. Not let situations around you stop you from being who you need to be, from doing what you need to do, and from achieving the things that you want to achieve. So, irrespective of the fact that things happen, life happens, I choose to be consistent to see the results that I desire to see. And so, how do I build the self discipline muscle? Jim Whitaker, who is an amazing CEO and American mountaineer, he says, you can never conquer the mountain, you can only conquer yourself. When you conquer yourself, then you can begin to work towards the aim of conquering the mountain. And so, every morning, the actions that you take will now begin to gear and work towards the outcome that you desire. The outcomes that you take will propel the actions and the intentions that you desire. And so you have to be able to push yourself forward. You have to be able to stay motivated and take action regardless of how you're feeling physically or emotionally. You have to show up intentionally and choose to pursue your aim to better yourself. And you do it in spite of distractions or unfavorable odds or hard work that is applied to it. And you need to realize that when we talk about discipline, it's different from self motivation, it's different from willpower. While self motivation and willpower contribute to discipline, we also have the place of persistence, the ability to follow through even when it's not working the way that you want it to work. And so I really, really want us to realize that if we're going to grow, then we need to begin to intentionally pursue discipline, intentionally show up consistently, even when we don't feel like it, even when it's not comfortable for us, we show up anyways. So, how do we become disciplined? Number one, figure out what you want to do and be clear about it. Many of us are very vague about our goals. Many of us don't even know what our goals are. We're just going with the flow. Whatever is exciting, whatever people are doing, whatever is convenient for everybody, and we're so excited to join the bandwagon. The danger of the bandwagon effect is that you have no legitimate reason to keep going if the going gets tough. So, in choosing your goals, you need to understand that you need a strong motive to get you going, even when the going gets hard, even when there are obstacles on your way, even when there is no support system. You know, the Bible tells us something about not having support systems, how that David encouraged himself in the Lord. In the journey of discipline, sometimes you're going to have to be your biggest cheerleader. Your voice of encouragement to yourself may have to be louder than the forces of opposition around you. And so you have to make up your mind to be disciplined, to see the results that you want to see. And so the first thing that we do is to set a goal. What am I working towards? What am I trying to achieve? What aim am I trying to get to? What outcome am I pursuing in the long term, in the short term? Who am I trying to become by this action that I'm taking? And by choosing a goal, you have to now begin to you have to make it smart. In fact, for the lack of a better word, make it smarter. You know, many times we talk about smart goals, but one of the things that I have really been applying recently that has helped me is smarter goals. What are smarter goals? They're specific, they're meaningful, they're achievable, or they're meaningful, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're relatable, they're time bound, right? They're time bound. You're able to evaluate them, and then you're able to readjust them. And so you have to know something very specific that you're working towards, not just a general agenda, but be very specific at what you're working towards. And then number two, set measurable goals. Can I measure these goals? Is this meaningful to me? Am I going to be able to, what is my motive towards it as well? Because that has so many meanings, from motive to meaning to measurable. You need to really know that this is something worth pursuing. And then A is achievable. So is this achievable? Is this something that can be done? It's not necessarily in the difficulty of it. Is it something that I can put in the work to achieve? And you know what? One of the ways to achieve, to measure achievability, is to cut it down into bite-sized goals. So you say, I want to read 24 books this year, and well, the first 5 months is gone. Now you have 7 months, and that means that you need to read approximately 4 books monthly. So, how am I going to be able to read 4 books monthly to achieve my aim of reading 24 books by the end of the year? And so, what are those decisions that you take daily that will help empower your decision to be able to achieve your goal? And so, one of the ways to make it achievable is to cut it down to bite sized, make it a little, make it things that you can achieve and look at day to day. Number four, relevant. Is your goal relevant? Is it relevant to your life? Is it relevant to your seasons? Is it relevant to who you're trying to become, what you're trying to achieve? Is your goal relevant? You need to be able to understand how relevant your goal is to you right now. And then number five is time bound. You need to give it time. Like I said, reading 24 books by the end of the year. So that means that there is a specific time frame to see the outcome that you want to see, and you're willing to do the work to achieve it. And that's one of the things that you must be intentional about in your journey. And it doesn't just end there. Evaluate your goals. Every 1 month, at the end of every month, evaluate your goals. Was I able to read 4 books this month? Why didn't I read 4 books this month? Is my goal still attainable if I'm unable to meet up at this particular time? These are the hard questions that we need to ask ourselves. Many times we live in fantasy. We try to, whatever will be, we'll fate it out. The truth is, when you put and you get to work, you need to be able to count your losses, reevaluate, and be able to readjust your goal to meet up with what you can achieve. Now, if you haven't been reading any books at all and your schedule is very busy, right? It means that reading four books may be impossible, except maybe you let go of certain things in your schedule. Maybe you let go of certain activities that you've held on to for so long. Maybe you cut down on certain things that you've done in time past and you've believed it's fine. So something's got to go for this to be fit into your schedule, especially when it's not something that is there. Now, if you're unable to move those things around, you're going to need to reevaluate your goal. And you reevaluating doesn't mean that you're a failure, because this is where people get it wrong rather. They believe that because I'm unable to achieve this particular outcome, because I'm unable to achieve this particular goal, I failed, I didn't do it well, I'm not going to succeed, and things like that. Those are emotional responses. You need to realize that when things don't work out, you are given an opportunity to make better decisions. I believe it was, I've forgotten who said it, but it said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result every time. And so, if I'm not going to call myself insane, if I'm not going to be able to look down on myself and belittle my journey, what am I going to do? I'm going to give myself the discipline to sit down and say, listen, this is what you're trying to achieve, and this is how you're trying to achieve it. And you're going to give in your all to ensure that this is achieved. And that means counting the cost, knowing that this is attainable, knowing that at this level, this is what you can do. We don't take one step and then go to the last staircase. We take one step at a time. At most two, if you're pretty ambitious, three, but then there's a chance of you falling at that particular time. So count from where you are and see what you can achieve from where you are. Don't make goals too big that is impossible for you to achieve. And then the last R, readjust. Know when to readjust, know when to be like, this is not working. I'm going to go back to it, go back to the drawing board, work on something, do something differently, and the likes of it. This is very, very important. And then number two, find your motivation. Know what your why is. If you really want discipline to work out, then your why must be front and center, not what you're trying to achieve. Why is that? Why is that? Your why is more than the outcome. Your why is the reason why you get up every day, you show up every day, you do what needs to be done every day. Your why is the reason why you make yourself uncomfortable, you stretch yourself, you push yourself beyond the boundaries and the borders of what could have been to achieve certain outcomes that you desire to achieve in your journey. And so, pay attention to your why. Put your why front and center. When your why is so ingrained in you that nothing convinces you otherwise, you are a step closer to achieving your goal. And then number three, identify your obstacles. Like I said, when you really want to build, you need to know what is going to stop me from achieving what I want to achieve. You cannot be idealistic and try to assume that nothing is going to go wrong, everything is going to be fine. I've prayed about it, I'm trusting God. The truth is this, I believe you, I agree with you. But life happens, things happen. What happens if you fall sick? What happens if someone in your family falls sick or there's an emergency? What happens if you've done all that you think you can do and you're not seeing the results that you feel that you can see? What happens when, despite putting your best, you still are not hitting the target or hitting the mark? You need to be able to prepare yourself for the worst while expecting the best. Prepare yourself for the worst while expecting the best. This is not living negative. This is you bracing up yourself to avoid the disappointment of the future. So identify what could go wrong. Number four, replace old habits. When you're developing self discipline, you need to know how to break your old habits, and don't just break it, replace it, right? Don't just stop it, replace it. I'm stopping this. What am I putting in instead? I'm not going to do this anymore. What am I going to do instead? There was a time in my life when I was really, really into fictional romance novel, Mouse and Born, and the likes of it. Now, as a prophetic person, that is going to definitely cloud my judgment. And also, those books are very encaptivating, for the lack of a better word, and you could spend so much time on them and not realize that all your time is gone and you've not achieved anything. And so what did I do when I stopped it? I took up another habit, and that's watching vlogs and watching podcasts in video form. By doing that, my mind was being engaged with something that captivating, but this time it was towards my growth and not towards building a fantasy that would never work. So don't just stop old habits, build new habits in a way that will make your goals attainable and possible. And then number five, monitor your progress. Don't just think because you're showing up daily that you're making progress. Going around in circles is motion, but not progress. Going around in a circle is motion, but not progress. So showing up every day could be you moving but not making progress. So monitor your progress. Know what are the parameters at which you see progress, at which you determine and define progress. What are the parameters at which you use to see that what you're investing, you are getting the requisite result? Obviously, it's not magic, so overnight won't work. But as you keep showing up daily, you need to be able to know that, okay, I'm showing up for this and I need a commensurate outcome for it that will make my showing up daily worth it, that will make me see that I'm not wasting my time, I'm building something, and I'm able to account for the outcome that I'm building towards. Anyways, I really hope that this is going to help you work towards self-discipline and work towards showing up consistently. And I would love to read from you how this is going to help you, what you're going to try it out on, and how you're going to apply it. I'm going to come your way next week to tell you more about growing intentionally. Until I come your way, it's bye from me for now. My name is Rejoice Azuka Uwuseba, and I love you. It's an honor to be a part of your growth and personal development journey. Bye for now.